algorithms, and I tried to explain this Josa algorithm by its quantum circuit. So where I told that this is the circuit diagram for a Dios-Josa algorithm, and what happens is it depends on the function fx. This UF is changed. Otherwise, this other parts are standard component of the algorithm. And once we have this kind of Oracle implemented properly.
Join karo sir. Chetan sir. Jain sir join karo.
So yeah. Shall I continue?
Yes sir, you can continue. Sorry for the disturbance. You can
No.
continue.
Yeah. So request participant to mute their mic. Yeah. So what I told is that this Oracle function is the key thing, which where we have to implement this fx in such a way that on the above we get the same input bits, same input qubits, and the bottom we get instead of this y input we get here y XOR fx as an output. So depending upon the fx we can implement it. So we will show how we can implement this. And when we measure this input bits, okay, here. So whenever the function is constant, we will get this state 0, 0 with highest amplitude or probability 1. Or whenever we are not getting 0 at all, it means the function is balanced. So we will see its implementation and a different Oracle and how to run it on a quantum platform in the later in the session. So before, yeah, so okay. So before going to detail, okay, so let's. So there are two things like can we see it implementation of this DOS-DOSA first, or we can continue the other algorithm that is Grover search, and then we can move to that. So I think we can cover this Grover's first, and then we should move to the programming part. So here earlier we have seen the first quantum algorithm that was giving an exponential advantage. That was Dios-Josa algorithm. But that problem is not of more use in practical real applications, like the function is constant or balanced if you can find it easily on a quantum device. But other than crypto, that is not used more often. So this Dios-Josa was showing the exponential speed up, but not having many practical applications. So in 1996, this Love Grover presented this search algorithm. And search, search is everywhere, like in computer science or in general life also. Every time we do some kind of search, like in the Google Map also, it do some kind of searching. Like in some database or some table, we want to search something. So search is like everywhere. So let's suppose there are n entries, capital N entries are in this table, and there is no sorting on any field here. So let's suppose if I want to ask you whose weight is 191. So if you want to find this and if data is not sorted on this weight field, then what you can do is you can randomly search one of these weights and then try to find the name or match the weight. So if my question is like, what is the name of person who is having weight 191? So what you will do is you will go through this weight column and try to find 191. Whenever you find 191, and then you will see the corresponding person name and you will tell, okay, person name is Greg. So the issue here is because this field is not sorted. Let's suppose if the same thing, this person are sorted. Okay, so on the name, if it is sorted, and if I ask what is the weight of Greg, then what you can do? What kind of search you can apply? If this field is sorted, suppose on
Binary
person name,
search.
binary search.
Binary
Okay,
search.
perfect. And what is the complexity if the elements are capital N?
Log
That is
n.
log n. Okay, so basically log of n. And if you see here, and then it is basically okay. So log n is very much less compared to this n. Okay, so let's suppose this n is basically 2 to the power 100. Suppose 2 to the power 100 capital N is this much. Then log n is basically
100.
100 only. So in 100 iteration, you can search this kind of database, which is having 2 to the power 100 entries. So it's amazing. But we cannot sort on each field. The problem is that if we have sorted this database on a name and apply binary search, then perfectly fine. But what about this weight field, which is not sorted? Then in that case, what you have to do is either you can sort on this field and then apply the binary search, or you can do some kind of linear search. So because this sorting also takes effort. So what is the best sorting algorithm? If n is the number of data, best sorting algorithm. Sorting complexity.
Quicksort.
Quicksort. So what is the complexity? It is basically order
N log n.
So,
Yes, sir.
so what I told is that this person field sorted perfectly fine. We applied this binary search. Weight field not sorted. What we can do is we can sort this data and then apply binary search. But the sorting complexity is also of order n log n, and here our n is very much. That is 2 to the power 100. So it is not advisable for some queries. You just again sorting this kind of large database. So sorting take effort. So let's suppose we are doing frequent searches on person name, then one time effort is required. So while creating this kind of table, we can sort on the basis of this person field. But sorting on each field is a tedious task and time consuming. So what is the best classical approach for that? If we do not go for sorting and then binary search, then we can do some kind of linear search. But still there is a problem. What is the problem? If this entry is n is basically 2 to the power 100, number of records are this much, then sequentially searching and the complexity will be order of n. Is it clear? If the field is not sorted, and
Sir,
Linear
kind of
search will have n complexity.
searching in this kind of thing is exponential in terms of number of size of this database. Okay. So
Yes, sir.
order of n classically. Okay. Same kind of thing here. Let's suppose there are capital N path between this source and destination. Suppose this one is our this is your source and this is your destination. So if you want to go from here to here, then there will be total n paths will be there. Okay. Other paths are there. Okay. And so there are total n paths are there between this source and destination, and you want to choose the shortest one, or cost wise, time wise, or any other thing on which parameter you want to sort it. So either you can just find the path and then compute their weight and then sort and then find the optimal one, or what you can do is you can search all possible paths one by one. Is n path, then you can have to check all possible n path and then you can choose the best one between these two source and destination. So what is the problem here is if there are many paths, this n is large, then here also it's a problem. So here also if you search by linear search or random search, then the worst case complexity is order of n. Okay, so we are seeing that search is important and everywhere it is used. If data is not sorted, or basically unordered list of possibilities are there. So unordered is important. Okay. So whenever it is ordered, then we can simply do a binary search. Okay. Whenever it is unordered, then complexity is in classical scenario, it is order n. What this Grover claim is, or Grover demonstrated is, we can reduce this complexity to order of square root of capital N. Okay, or order of 2 to power small n. Okay, so keep this thing in mind whenever we are saying this capital N, that is basically 2 to power n. Okay. Okay. So what is this small n or this capital N? So here if we see, let's suppose this person name is of 12 characters long. Okay. So number of bits required to represent this person name. So let's suppose 12 characters are there and each character require 8 bits, then small n is this much. Okay, this much bits. Okay, number of bits required to represent this person name in binary field. So this many bits are required. So what will be capital N? Total space, that will be this much. If person name is 12 character long and each character take 8 bits, then this field is of 12 into 8 bit length. Okay, so length of this field is this much bits and total space of these names will be n capital N, that is basically 2 to the power small n. So keep this thing in mind. So here also this number of path, capital N is number of path, and this 2 to the power n is small n is number of bits required to represent this capital N. Okay. So what is the claim here in Grover's? We can order n to, we can go to square root of n. So what is this classical approach? We will try one by one all possible n and then we will be able to tell or search the thing. But here Grover is saying that complexity is of order of square root n, basically less than n. Okay, how it does, we will see. But timing, you take it, this claim as a this speed up is called quadratic speed up. Here it was n and here it is square root of n. So it's a quadratic speed up and it is significant. Let's suppose if we are having 2 to the power 30 kind of a space. Okay, capital N is this much. So if you apply this normal search, then it is 2 to the power 30. And if you apply Grover, then it will be 2 to the power 30 square root. That will be basically 2 to the power 15. So if you see Grover, it will take only 2 to the power 15. So 2 to the power 15 is very less compared to 2 to the power 30. You see here, just adding one bit, or basically 2 to the power 15 and 2 to the power 16, the difference is?
Yes, sir.
It is just doubling the space, like one bit or one this 2 you multiply in it. So 2 to the power 15 will become 2 to the power 16 by just doubling this space. So it is how much time it is? How much time it is? It is 2 to the power 15 times of Grover's complexity. So the square root is also an important factor, although it is quadratic, but it is still significant. We will see how this algorithm works and how it is used. So just give a brief overview of that algorithm. So it was presented by Love Grover in 1996, and he is an Indian passed out of IIT Delhi. And when he was working in Bell Laboratories in USA, he proposed this algorithm, which can search on unstructured or unordered or unsorted database. Okay, and it can do it in square root of n iteration. Okay, we will see how we can do it. So if you see the algorithm, so there are standard parts that start with initial state zeros, then apply the Hadamard. So what this Hadamard does is, can anyone tell? It creates equal.
Computes alpha and beta coefficient.
No, it creates equal superposition. So those alphas and betas will be same.
The same, correct.
Okay. So what is happening here is, using the n qubit, you can represent the entire space. Are you getting here? N qubits only, but it will represent the entire space of 2 to the power n. Okay. And here what we are doing is, square root of capital N time we apply this operator. This thing is called Grover operator. Okay. And what this Grover operator does is, on this superposition, what we get here is all states are equal likely. Okay. Let's suppose we are searching for 101, or our assign looking for this 101. Okay. So there will be all values from 0, 0, 0, and all will be having same probability here. At this step, all state will present on superposition, and amplitude or probability of everyone is same. Okay. So what will be that? That will be square root of 2 to the power 3, 1 upon square root of 2 to the power 3. That is basically 1 over square root of it. So it will be probability of this, and all states. All possible 8 states will having same amplitude, that is 1 by square root 8. 8 states, how much states will be there? And amplitude is this much, and probability will be 1 by square root square. That's basically 1 by 8. So all state here at state 2 will be having probability 1 by 8, equal likely. But this Grover operator, what it does is it increases the desired state or the state which we are searching in each iteration. So here it is all are equal. One iteration of this Grover operator will increase the desired state or the state which we are searching. Its amplitude is increased. So amplitude of this is increased and others will decrease. Okay. One iteration, two iteration. So
Hello,
after
sir, is this high-tech company software solution, sir?
sorry.
சார் இது கேம்பஸ் ரெக்ரூட்மெண்ட்லாம் பண்ணுறீங்க சார் நான் சரி சேலத்துல பேசுகிறேன் சார் மகேந்திரா
Someone mute.
நான் பேசுகிறேன் கேட்டு ஃப்ரெண்டு மூலியமா இந்த லிங்க்
Muting the person's mic.
நீங்கள் கேம்பஸ் ரெக்ரூட்மெண்ட் பண்ணுறீங்களா பசங்களுக்கு படிக்காது ஓகே ஓகே சார்
Mr. B. Joseph, please mute your mic.
Yeah. So the idea is that initially all states are equal likely. So if you measure at this point, then you will get equal probability of getting all this state. So what is the idea is that when we apply this Grover operator, it will increase the amplitude of our desired state and decrease others. And if we apply this operator this much time, then on measuring here after this many iterations, maximum probability or more than 50% chances that you will get your desired state. We can call it as X star. So the idea is that whatever you are searching for at with more than 50% probability, you will get here by applying this operator square root of capital N time. So understand simple steps. Firstly, okay, so we will revisit it. How this operator is doing the thing, we will see. So in the Grover operator, if you see, there are two things. One is that amplitude inversion operator and other is inversion about mean operator. Okay. And what it does is we will see here. So this is basically this amplitude inversion is basically called oracle. So let's suppose our function is this. F is equal to x1.
Mr. Joseph, please unmute yourself.
சார்
Mr. Joseph.
சேலம்லேருந்து போகிறேன் சார் இது மகேந்திரா எஜுகேஷன் இன்ஸ்டிடியூஷன் அதான் கேம்பஸ் ரெக்ரூட்மெண்ட் பண்ணுறீங்களா சார் நீங்கள்
Okay, ma'am, can you do one thing? You can mute everyone.
Yes, sir. We'll do it from our side. We'll do it. Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So let's suppose this is our f. Okay, a Boolean function x1, x2 bar, x3. Okay, and what is our question is we are searching for fx is equal to 1. So we are basically searching fx star such that fx star is 1. So when this function will be 1, can anyone tell? X1, x2 bar, x3. So I am searching for satisfiability of it. Can anyone tell what is the satisfying assignment for this function f such that it will become 1?
So when the desired search is obtained?
No. Before going to detail of this algorithm, my simple question is that you are given this function f and you are finding you want to find satisfying assignment of this function such that the value of this x1, x2, x3 equates this function to 1. So if I put the value of x1 is equal to 1, x2 is equal to 0, and x3 is equal to 1, then this will become 1. Is it clear or not? I want to make it 1. This function f, I want to make it 1. So I am saying that x1 is 1, x2 is equal to 0, and x3 is equal to 1. So if
Yes,
there is
sir.
nothing, then there is an AND operator between them. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So when we put this value 1, 0, 1, then only this function will become 1. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
I
Yes.
So what I am trying here is I am taking a very simple function f so that we can understand. But in practical application, this f will be a very complex function. Keep this thing in mind that these things are valid for large or complex f functions also. For understanding simplicity, we are taking as a simple function f, that is this. So if I ask you what is the satisfying assignment of this function, then you are able to tell me it is 101. Okay. Suppose this function is complex, then what will happen? You don't have any other way than brute force. What you will do is let this function. Suppose this function f is having 100 variables. Okay, 100 variables, and so how many choices will be there? 2 to the power 100. All these are the variables. Okay. Here only 3 variables are there. So what you can do is you can start with 000, 001, and 111. So what you can do is you can supply this is the function. So there will be this much values, possible values. So what you can do is classically you can try one by one. So there will be 2 to the power n values. So basically here 2 to the power 3 values are there. So what you can do is you will try all possible this value, and whenever it is 1, you will tell okay, f is 1 when 101 was there. So what you are doing here is x is here, fx is here. So fx is 0, 0, 0, 0, except at this it is 0. So what you are doing is you are doing the brute force kind of thing to find the satisfying assignment of this. So this is called basically Boolean satisfiability, and it's an NP complete problem. So some function f is given and you want to find the satisfying assignment such that it equals to 1. So in this case, if we do this brute force, then only 8 entries are there, or by looking the function also we can tell that 101 if you put, then it will get 1. But in real life, this variable will be more, x1, xi will be in hundreds, and function will be complex, not just simple ending of this, but there will be a complex function. So if you do brute force kind of thing, then what you have to do is you have to search the entire space. That space is basically 2 to the power small n. So here in this case it is 2 to the power 3. So order of this effort you require classically for this kind of satisfiability. Okay. So but Grover's claim that we can do the same thing in Grover what says order of square root of capital N. So time being, just to keep this thing in mind that this searching can be searching problem can be turned into this Boolean satisfiability. Basically what we are doing is we are searching for a satisfying assignment. Okay. Manish, थोड़ा धीरे है. हाँ नहीं धीरे बोलो. हाँ. So what is happening here is if we do Grover's kind of thing, then we can do it in order of square root n. That is less. But the idea here is this function is basically we are doing for Boolean satisfiability here. And what I am telling is that searching problem can be converted into Boolean satisfiability. So here also what we are doing is we are searching for a satisfying assignment. So searching. So searching if you do classically order n, Grover's order square root n. How it is doing here? So keep this example in mind that we are searching for in this function f. Okay, and the value which we are looking for is what is that? 101. Is it clear now or not? So we are looking for this is the function, and for this satisfying assignment we are looking for, and that is basically 101. But we don't know in the beginning of this algorithm. But what we are saying here is there is a function oracle. What it does is, okay, whenever you supply the input x, if fx is 0, okay, so let's suppose if we apply 000, so in this case fx will be 0. It will be 1 only when 101 is supplied. So whenever we are whatever value we are searching for, if that is applied to this function f or oracle box, so kind of thing this. So you are supplying x here, okay. So what we are getting here is fx. But when you supply x star, you will get here minus fx. Okay. So what is the idea here is that whenever this proper value which we are looking for is there, then this fx star will be 1 and this oracle will work like this. So this oracle function uf we have written, so it will operate on x and it will produce this kind of a state minus 1 power fx x. So whenever this fx is 1, in this case, when x star is supplied, so this will become minus 1. Otherwise, when fx is 0, so this minus 1 power 0 will be 1 only. So this kind of function it is performing. So you don't have to worry about this thing. You just understand that what this oracle does is. What this oracle does is for desired state. So
sorry, sir, to interrupt. Sir, Oracle means Oracle server where with the database you're talking about?
oh no. You think of it as a machine which got this fx implemented inside.
Okay, sir.
With what this function fx implemented in it, and what it is doing here is when you supply input x to it, it will remain same, and when you supply x star, the desired answer, the desired thing, then it will change the sign of fx. Change the sign of x. So x will remain same whenever input fx is equal to 0, and whenever fx star is there, it will change the sign of x. Okay, we will see in the implementation also, but time being, you just think that whenever what this oracle does is whenever desired input is supplied, it will change the sign of state. It will become.
So you mean to say when x equals to 0 or it sees that fx equals to 0, right, sir?
Fx is equal to 0, then it will x will remain same. When fx is 1, it will change the sign.
Okay, sir.
So basically this kind of equation you can understand, minus 1 power fx x.
Okay, sir.
So we will see also in detail, and there is another operator that is called amplitude amplification, or it is also called diffusion operator. So what it does is basically it rotates the state around mean. So I will tell you what is the mean. So we are having amplitude of all the states, so we can compute the average amplitude or mean of the amplitude, and whatever the value mean is there, we will rotate all state around it. We will see in the detail how we are going to do it. So combined effect of this two operator, oracle and amplitude amplification, what it does is, if you see here in the beginning, all states were equal likely, means their probability and their amplitude were same at the beginning. But when one time, suppose we apply this Grover operator G, we in that we do these two things, then amplitude of desired state increases and undesired decreases. Okay, so after square root of Kimmelin iteration, it will become significant and other will vanish. So it will having more amplitude, more probability of getting it on measurement, and they will die out. Other will die out. See how it will happen. So if you see the block diagram of this algorithm, it works like this. So if you see this initialization component is fixed. So what it does is whatever the function, let's suppose it is 3-bit function. Okay. So register 1 size will be 3, and there is an auxiliary Oracle qubit is supplied in one state. And then we apply this Hadamard. So this is standard part, and then Grover operator comes in, and this Grover operator, how many times we applied? Square root of order, square root of n times, and then we measure it. So what is happening here is If you see here, these three components are there. Initialization, so it will remain same for everyone. Then there is a compute, then there is a measure. So measurement, what we do is we just measure the this input register bits. Okay. So and this compute is basically this Grover operator is applied square root of n times. So what is this Grover inside is? So Grover is basically this oracle kind of thing. So what it will do is it will change the sign of x when fx is 1. So this thing it does, and this component is what it is doing is basically changing the face of non-zero state, and then this Hadamard combination. What this entire thing does is it does that diffusion operator. What that means is it will invert about the mean. So we will see in the example how what is that inversion about mean is. But time being, you understand this oracle is the thing in that this fx is changing in this entire implementation. So it will depend. So fx come to play in role in this oracle part. Okay, rest other things will remain same. So this measurement will remain same, this initialization will same, this Hadamard will same. So in the Grover also there are two components, and the first component is depend only this fx. Other are independent of this fx. So only this fx is coming here. So in the oracle we have to implement fx in such way that for desired x star it changes the sign. So we will see how we can implement it. So if we see the algorithm, then what we have understood is that initially all states are equal likely. We supply to this Grover operator square root. Let's suppose this k is square root of n time. Then this is, let's suppose, our x star. This is our x star. So what will happen after this Grover operators? With high probability, you are getting the desired answer, x star. So the idea is this Grover operator we are applying, and at the end, initially this all states were equal likely here, and here highest probability amplitude of desired state we will get. So the idea is, if we think of this 3 qubit kind of thing, so all states were equal likely, having same amplitude 1 by square root and probability 1 by 8. But here the probability of this state will be 90% x star, and other 10 this remaining 7 states will be there. We will see with the example. So if is states by, if you want to see this algorithm, then it works in this manner. So this is the initialization kind of thing, and this is the phase inversion, and this is the inversion about mean operator, and this is the measurement thing. So if we see this phi 1, phi 2, and this at this so phi 1, phi 2 are, this phi 2 is the state which is applied to this Grover operator, and this 3a, 3b are the state after phase inversion and inversion about mean. So what we will do is try to understand this thing that square root of n application of this Grover operator does the trick. So if we apply this Grover operator, how much time? Square root n times. Then we are getting the desired answer with more probability. Okay, and if we are getting more than 90% time this x star, then x star is our desired state or our satisfying solution or the item which we are looking for. So understanding this thing, so this was our initialization step. So what we are doing in initially is, so suppose that the same function is there. What is that? Keep this thing in mind. Our function f is basically x1, x2 bar, x3. Okay, so our x star is basically 101. Okay, so here we are taking a small example. Keep this thing in mind. In practical application, this function will be complex, and you cannot easily tell this x star. So what are the steps? First steps, initially all 3 qubits are in 0, 0 state. Okay, so only state, so okay, and this is basically amplitude. Okay, and probability is basically mod square of amplitude. So I want some volunteer to join with me. Can anyone volunteer with me? Any of you can volunteer?
Sir, I'll try.
Yeah, what's your name?
Archana Kale.
Archana, thank you for volunteering. So what I am writing this thing here is that our f is this and our x star is 101 that we will find with high probability at the end of this implementation of this Grover's algorithm. So what I am saying is initially this all 3 qubits are in 0 state. So what will be the amplitude of this 000 state? Only this state will be there. These are states 1. So this is amplitude. So it is basically the amplitude. Yeah, Archana, you are with me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So I'm just preparing an Excel sheet where I can work out the.
Oh no, I have done the calculation.
Amplitude of 000 will be 1.
Okay, okay. Yeah, yeah. So,
So
all
initially
three
we
zeros,
are
yeah,
saying
it will
is-
be 1. Yes.
So
sir.
initially there will be only 000 state because
Yes.
all qubits are 000.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So only amplitude of this state will be there. Okay.
Yes.
Other states will amplitude having 0. So if amplitude is 0, then probability is also
0.
probability is basically amplitude mod square.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. So
Yes.
probability will also be 0.
Yeah. So only 000 state is there with us.
Yes, sir.
Then we apply 3 Hadamard gate on these 3 qubits. So
Yes, sir.
3 Hadamard we are applying on this 000 state. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So what it will do is it will create equal superposition of all possible states.
For all the state.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
000 to 111.
Yes, sir.
And what will be the amplitude? That will be 1 by square root of 2 to power 3.
3. So 1 by square root of 8.
Perfect. So now we are having all states. Okay.
Yes,
If
sir.
we measure this at this point of junction, then what is the probability of getting 101 on measurement?
1 by 8, sir.
Perfect. And what is the probability of getting 111?
All 1 by 8 at this point.
Yeah. So you cannot make you cannot distinguish 101 from other states at
Yes,
this
sir.
point.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
But suppose if somehow I do something and these things become 0 or negligible, and this thing become 0.9 or something, 0.1 or 0. Okay. If somehow using the Grover algorithm, I can modify these amplitudes 1 by square root to this step. Then
Yes,
what is
sir.
the probability of getting 101 here?
0.9.
Then it's a 1.
If this is the amplitude, then 0.81.
9,
is the
1.
probability.
0.9 square
Yes,
probability?
sir. So 0.81, yeah.
Yeah, so 0.81. So and then it will be 0.01.
Yes, sir.
So can it be a state, valid state?
No, sir, because sum
No.
has to be 1.
Yeah, so maybe somewhere some 0.1 or something will be added here, then it will be okay. So the idea here is if somehow I can increase the amplitude of this desired state and decrease the others, then we are done. So in the
Yes.
Grover, this thing is done in square root of capital N iteration. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So let's move to other state. So there is an operator called amplitude inversion operator that we will see how we can implement it. Just time being understand that for desired what it does is it changes the sign of amplitude. So earlier all are having this plus 1 by root 8. So on application of this amplitude inversion, desired state is 101. So it will change the amplitude. Okay. Sign of that amplitude.
Sir, I have one small doubt. How
Yeah.
does it identify that for 101 it has to change or it's a black
Yeah.
box?
Black box.
Operator.
But what it does is black box is doing this thing. You supply X here, you will get X. Okay.
Yes. Okay, sir.
If fx is 0, if fx is 1, then you will get here minus x.
Minus x. Okay, that is how you get the inverse. Okay, sir.
Yeah. So minus means basically phase sign is changed. This coefficient
Yes.
is basically amplitude,
Yes.
you can call it, or the amplitude sign is changed.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
Yes, sir.
this we will implement and we will see how we can implement this kind of thing. But time being, you understand that we have this operator, amplitude inversion. So what
Yes,
it will
sir.
do is, it will change the sign. So it is done here.
Yes.
Now, if I ask you, what is the probability of getting 101?
Same again, 1 by 8.
Yeah, because it is minus sign will, if you mod
Minus.
square, then it will be plus only. So
Yes, sir.
it has not changed anything till now.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
But if we apply that other operator that we called inversion about mean, so what it will do is, so before going to detail, what is the mean of that amplitude? So now amplitude is this and minus 1 by root 8. So what is
Yes,
the
sir.
mean?
So
If you
mean will be 6. Average will be 6 upon under root 8. So mean
Yeah.
will be 3 upon under root 8.
Perfect. So this is the mean of amplitude. And what
Yes,
that
sir.
operator is doing, inverting about the mean, each state. So let's suppose our first state is having this amplitude, 1 by root 8. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So inversion about mean is doing this thing, minus V plus 2A, where A is the average and V is the amplitude of the state.
Yes, sir.
So
So
originally
1
V is 1 by root 8.
under root 280. Yeah.
So it will become this.
So
For whenever
yes.
the original V is.
Yes, sir. It
Whenever
will
V
be
is
5 times more. The amplitude will be 5 times more.
perfect. So if we apply this operator and at the end of this operator, if we see, then this will be the other amplitudes. So what it will be?
Yes.
See here, you just make this
Yes.
sign plus.
Yes, sir.
So here before that it will be just plus sign here. So if you see here, sorry. So these are the new amplitudes of the states. So you can see that
Yes.
desired state amplitude is increased 5 times on one
Yes, sir.
iteration.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we are applying the Grover operator again 2 times. Okay. So second time it will
Yes.
do the same thing. So first it will change the sign. So sign is changed.
Yes, sir.
Then again it will compute the average.
Again, it
New
will
average.
compute that.
New average, and then inversion about this new mean that here is
Yes.
1 by 8 root 8. So for the states which are having this amplitude 1 by 2 root 8, it will become this minus 1 by
Yes.
4 root 8. And for the desired state, it will become 11 by 4 root 8. So see,
Yes, sir.
desired state x star. So if you see here, earlier it was 5 times, now it has become 11 times. See,
Yes, sir.
other states are having minus you can timing ignore. So it is 1 by 4 root 8, and here it is 11 times of that. So your amplitude is increased 11 times, and probability will increase how much time? 121 times.
Wow, it will increase 121 times.
So see here, these are the resultant amplitudes after second iteration of Grover operator. This will
Yes,
be
sir.
perfect. Now, if I ask you to compute the probability of all the states, so for this 101, what will be the probability? This is the amplitude.
Yes,
So,
sir. So it will be
part of this.
121 upon 16 into 8.
So that will be no here, yeah. So this will be this number. So what is this number? Probability will be 0.94.
9. Huh.
Amplitude is this 0.97. So amplitude was
Yes.
0.97, but the probability is this much. And
Yes.
for other state, amplitude was this, and probability will be
Probability
this
will
much.
be 11 times less. So the thing is very low.
Yeah. So now if you see here, and that will be distributed in other 7 states. Okay. So now
Yes,
if
sir.
you see, total probability will be always 1. So we can see here also that probability of desired state plus 7 times the probability of non-desired state. So if we solve that, then it is coming 1.
It should be 1. Yeah.
So in general, if you measure this state after this second iteration at this state, if you measure the input qubits, then with more than 94% probability, you will get this state
Yes, sir.
101. So you will get 101 on measurement. you will not find these states 000, 111, or maybe with very few probability. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
It will
perfectly
be
fine.
not 0 but very low.
Yeah. And this such that sum is 1. Okay.
Yes.
So
Yes.
let's suppose, so what we do is, it is not like that we just run it one time and we say, okay, this is our answer. So what we do is we do this experiment 1000 times. Okay. So if we do this 1000 times, then we will observe that 900 plus times or 945 times we are getting this 101, and other time we are getting this state also.
Yes, sir.
So what is the idea? Because it is probabilistic, so maybe it can happen in rare cases that if you run this experiment one time only, then you may get wrong answer also, because there is a probability of getting this also. So what we do is we run the experiment several times. Let's suppose 1000 times if we do, and if this probability statistics are correct, then 94% time we will get, out of those 1000 trials, we will get 101.
Okay.
And the thing is that more than 50%, if you are getting something, then you will say this is our answer.
Okay. So
Okay.
for more than, suppose we do 200 trials, then for if 101 trials we are converging to the same
Yeah. So then
solution,
it is
then
our
that
answer.
will be our solution. Okay, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Got the concept.
Perfect. So here what I am telling you is that how to implement that oracle and this Grover operator. So if you think of that the same function, okay. So okay, let me, okay. So okay, just a second. So if you want to implement for 3-qubit kind of Grover search, and then you can implement it this fashion. So you will find that this okay, here is your oracle is there, and here is this thing is your inversion about mean operator. So this component is doing that inversion about mean, and this is doing your oracle thing. And one time we have shown here, and this is your standard part. So that is basically called equal superposition creation. So initialization part. So we will see how we can implement this oracle in detail. But time being, you understand that using the quantum gates, we can do implement these things. Okay. How we will see in the composer thing. If we run it on a because how much time for 3 it is, how much time we have to run it. So the precise number is this much, pi by 4 square root of n times you have to iteration, Grover iteration basically. So in the complexity term, we are saying that order of capital N times we have to implement this Grover operator. So what is that Grover? Grover is collection of these two operators. So this thing, how many times we have to implement? The square root of n times. But a particular number is pi by 4 square root of n. If we run, then more than 50% chance that we will get the correct answer. So it should not be like that one iteration you do and you stop. But for this capital N is equal to 2 power 3, that is basically 8 here. So it is basically 2 root 2. So if you do it here, then 1 or 2 iteration is sufficient. So if we are doing for one iteration, then maybe we can get this kind of result. We are getting this thing with more probability, amplitudes. But if you run for second 2 iteration, then we will get it with 90% probability. Okay, 3-qubit we are showing here. If you do for 5-qubit kind of search, so what is the idea here is that there is some function f consisting of 5 variables. Okay, so it can be a complex function with 5 variables, and you want to find the satisfying assignment. Okay, so in that case, you have to apply this several times, this Grover operator, which consists of 2 operators, and this kind of amplitude you can get. Okay, so we will see in the demo thing. Quickly go through that applications of this Grover. So as you are convinced that searching is everywhere, so we can use it for database search also. We can do it in this cryptanalysis kind of thing, where you want to try exhaustively all possible keys. Like the satisfiability you have done, Boolean satisfiability. So what we are doing here is that function is given. So if we can convert that cryptanalysis problem into this Boolean satisfiability, then that can be done in order of square root n. So that will be basically this. optimization problem like traveling salesmen also can be efficiently solved using this Grover search. Particular numbers, if you can see that, let's suppose we are having database of 1 billion UID, like our Aadhaar record is there. So maybe let's suppose if we are having 1 billion records there, so that is basically 10 to power 9. So if you don't have any searching or any sorting, or you cannot apply this binary search, then you are left with linear search kind of thing. And in that case, average complexity is half of that space. So that is basically half billion if we apply linear searching. But Grover can do it in how much time? Can anyone tell? If we apply Grover on this space, capital N, then Grover can do it in square root of n.
10 raised to 9.
10.
That is basically
10
to
raised
power
to
9 by 2.
9 by
That
2.
is
So 10 to the power, yeah,
4.5.
4.5. Yes, sir.
So if you see that this number is very less, 31,000 only. And if you see it is 1 billion, or basically half billion. So half billion was there in classical thing. And if you do quantum Grover's algorithm, then it is only 31,000. So a significant speed advantage you can get. So similarly, it can be used in cryptography also, but time being, we should not spend time here. So right now we have understood these two algorithms. Okay. So I just want to briefly revise for you guys that what are those algorithms. That is Grover's is what it is doing is some kind of F is there and you want to search the satisfying assignment. So that you can do it in order of square root of n time. Is it clear?
Yes,
Is it
sir.
clear? So basically it is called Boolean satisfiability or searching in this kind of Boolean function. So it can be speed up with quadratic speed up, that is square root of n time. Okay. Perfect. And what was the other thing which we have covered is that was Diaz-Josa algorithm. So what was that doing? Can anyone remind? Diaz-Josa.
I did not get, sir. Can you repeat the question, sir?
I was asking that what does that Diaz-Josa algorithm does?
Single source shortest path algorithm, sir.
No. Diaz-Josa I told.
No, it identifies the function. It identifies the
which
function
is?
whether it is a Boolean or a constant, balanced or constant.
Perfect. What's your name?
Shanti, sir.
Shanti. Perfect. So this is the thing which we told, na? That function is either. Just a second. So function is either constant or balanced, and you want to determine that thing. Okay. So here other things were constant. Only the thing that changes is this oracle kind of thing. What this oracle does here is just it gives y, x or fx here. Okay. So oracle what it is doing is x so other part is standard part of this algorithm. The thing which changes is this oracle implementation where you have to somehow implement this kind of logic that at y you should get y, x or fx here. Okay. If you are able to implement that thing depending on your x, let's suppose my x is just a second. So what I'm telling here is that this fx can be basically, let's suppose my fx is x1, x or x2. So what is this function? It is balanced or constant? Are you able to listen me?
Could you please repeat it once?
Yes,
So
sir.
actually So my question is that suppose you are given a function fx that is basically x1, x or x2.
Yes, sir.
So is it balanced or constant?
Sir, can you repeat it?
It's balanced, sir.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
So half the time it is giving 0, 0, and half the time it is giving 1.
One. So it is balanced.
Yeah. And let's suppose the function is like this: x1, x2, and x1 bar.
So can you
Yeah.
expand it? We cannot to see.
Yeah. Just a second. I will write for you guys.
That will be a constant, sir.
Yes, because
Always 0.
yes, perfect. Just a second. For others also, I think I should write it so that. Just a second. What is happening here? So this was my function. Just a second. Let me erase it. Clean it. So my fx is basically x1, xor, x2. Okay, so it was, as you told, balanced. Okay, now I ask that fx is this: x1, x2, and x1 bar. Is it constant or balanced? It is constant. Whatever the value of this x1, x2 is applied, because this x1 and x1 bar will always give 0.
Okay, yes, sir. Yep.
So it is a constant function. But here we are taking very simple fx, so we can, by seeing also we can tell. But in when this number of variable increases and function is complex, then by seeing only we cannot tell. But Dios-Josa,
First.
yeah,
So
please.
in the first formula, fx equals to x1 to the power asterisk you are given, right?
No. It is XOR.
Sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then it is balanced. Yes, sir.
Yeah, perfect. So okay. So what we told is that this, using the Dios-Josa algorithm, we can do in one oracle iteration of this fx, we can tell about this thing, that whether this function is constant or balanced. Okay, so keep this thing in mind when we implement this algorithms on IBM quantum computer. So now let's quickly move to this IBM platform. All of you also can do at your system also. So if you search for this IBM quantum experience, then you will get this kind of platform. So maybe you have to log in also. So if you want to go ahead with me, then you can just open this IBM quantum experience, and there will be some login options will be there, and then you can log in here. So once you log in, you will be here at this kind of interface. So what this platform is doing here is, here IBM has provided different quantum devices to us. Okay. So if you see here, this first one is a this IBM Q Santiago. It's an actual quantum processor, which is having this 5 qubits. There is a IBM Q Balam. There is IBM Q Quito. So if we go for all quantum details, so meanwhile you guys can log in. So these kind of quantum processors are available where you can run your quantum circuits or quantum algorithms. Okay, and generally this name contains this Athens, means it is located, or it is hosted in Athens city, Santiago, Quito, or Melbourne. Okay, and this generally numbers are mostly number of qubits in that device. Okay, and there is the option of quantum simulator also. So what is this simulator? In the simulator, you can run your quantum circuit, test them, and then once you are sure that this is the quantum circuit or the implementation of an algorithm I want to run on an actual device, then you can port that thing to actual devices. So these all devices are available to you. You can run your quantum circuit on it using this IBM Quantum Composer platform. So any one of you logged in or able to log in to this platform?
Sir, I'm trying.
Okay, you try. Anyone
Sir,
else want to try?
Sir, even I'm also trying, sir. So that link which you are presenting, that link only we need to type it in
Yeah,
browser, right?
no, just search for this IBM Quantum Experience search. Search for it.
IBM
Quantum Experience. हाँ बोलो नहीं बोल दो पूरा बोल दो इनपुट कर दिया था
अच्छा तो बोल रहा हूँ थोड़ा सा साउंड साइन ज्यादा समय करवा देना है
आप ये करना है
हाँ
करके चले जाओ ना क्या दिक्कत है करके चले जाओ तो करके चले जाओ है ना yeah are you able to log in some of you
So it's in a process, sir.
Just you can use your Gmail also or some mail ID. You can whatever is there on your device.
Yes,
just
sign in. We can use it Gmail, right, sir?
Yes, perfect. So it will you know to create the account, it will be automatically created.
Sir, can you suggest any link or a book to go through it, sir?
Yeah, there are various online platform also available, and there are books also named with IBM Qiskit programming or IBM Composer programming. So, but reasonable or good resources are available online. So, if you go for this Qiskit website, or if you are able to log in here, then here also some help is also given. Documentation is available. So, just follow the documentation, then you will be able to. So if some of you are able to log in, then it is okay. If others are not able to log in, then it is also okay. No problem. Just try to understand what I'm explaining, then you can do it yourself later on. So once you create your account using some Gmail or other mail ID, you will be here. Okay. And I told that there is this option. What are the platforms available? Systems and simulator available. So these kind of quantum computers are available to you. Okay. All, and there is a simulator also. So generally what we do is we do our experimentation on these simulators and finally our quantum circuit and then run on these physical devices, because there is a queue there on the physical devices, because those are limited devices and people from all over the world try to run their quantum algorithm or quantum circuits on these devices.
Sir, okay. I'm inside quantum experience. Where I need to go into quantum lab?
No, just go to this button, this system and simulators.
System and simulators. Okay.
So what's your name? You be with
My
me.
name is Neeraj.
Neeraj?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Neeraj.
So Neeraj, if you go with this systems and simulator, then you will see the platforms available.
Yes, sir. I can able to view it. So I can play around it. Okay. Sir.
Yes. So second thing I want to first highlight is that there is this dashboard. If you go to this dashboard, then what will whatever activity you have done in recent time will be shown here. Like this kind of circuits I have created, recent circuits are shown here. If there is any pending results is there, because sometime if you run on actual device, then they will be pending in pending states. Here it will show your history, whatever circuits are there where you run. So that if you see here, I run this on IBM 16 Malvern, this I run on quantum simulator, this I run on Santiago, and these are available devices online. So here we are showing the online devices. So if you want to run your quantum circuit on physical devices, then you choose one of them, okay, which are available. So in this thing, all devices are shown. Maybe they are online or available, online or offline or not working. All will be shown here, okay. But if you see here, you will find only online devices.
पैसा तो यार कुछ है, मेट्रो कार्ड है क्या तुम्हारे पास? दे दो यार, मेट्रो कार्ड के बस। हाँ बैग लाना है।
क्वालिटी करेंगे। स्मिता किससे ले लो?
सुमित्रा है, कोई है ही नहीं।
अच्छा नीति किससे ले लो?
यार सबसे काला ठीक
अरे
है
यार एक्चुअली मैं वॉलेटिंग लाया उसमें यार।
मेट्रो कार्ड है
मेट्रो कार्ड उसमें था, वॉलेट में यार।
तो सब कुछ उसी में रहता है।
So I think most of you are able to log in now, or
Yes. After
Yes,
logging in, sir, where should we go? We have created our accounts.
yeah. So just I was explaining about this platform. So I have shown here that if you go for this system and simulators, then you can see all available devices. Okay.
Yes, sir.
By provided by IBM. So some devices may be in maintenance state or maybe not function, not online, but you will see list of entire devices here. Okay. If you go to home, then you will come here and you will see that these are the devices available on and online. So you can run your circuit on these devices only. So maybe sometimes some devices go to maintenance and those things. So those which are available and ready to run your quantum circuit will be shown here. So if you see states here that this IBM Q Santiago is online, and if you see there are 3131 jobs are pending. So there is
Yes,
long
sir.
queue. So if you go here,
Yes.
this Bellum, there is very short queue, 45 jobs are there. Qto, only 40 is there.
Yes, sir.
So you should choose the device depending on availability. Where less jobs are pending, you can run on that device. So you will get the result quickly.
Okay,
So,
sir.
so you can, when you submit your thing, you can choose this kind of device. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Perfect. So what I was showing that this is when you dashboard, you will see this kind of interface. Whatever circuit you have done, whatever the activities you have done, will shown here. Next come is this thing. If you see, it is called Circuit Composer. This is the option. If you see, it is called Circuit Composer. Okay, and composer is basically means it's kind of like in music. Now we have some basic source, sa re ga ma pa. So using those source, you can create music. So here also it is Circuit Composer means there are quantum gates are available. Using those quantum gates, you can compose any kind of circuit or can implement any kind of algorithm. So whatever the gates we have studied in the morning session, those are available here. This is the Hadamard gate. This is NOT gate or X gate. It is called C note. So what does C note does? Can anyone remind? It is basically control node.
Control not. So
One
we
con-
will
One qubit
One control
is
node.
one, then
control
its second
not.
qubit will be not. And this is our Toffoli.
So
Control
double
control
control not kind of thing.
Okay, perfect. And this is particularly swap gate. This is identity gate. So as the name suggests, it will do nothing. And then this Z gate. Can anyone tell what does the Z gate does? It will change the phase of one state.
State.
And means 0 remains same. 0 will be 0. 1 will become -1. Okay. And this S and T are basically a specific value of phase, pi by 2 and pi by 4. And this T dagger is basically complex conjugate of this gate. Whatever the matrix of T is there, if you take complex conjugate of that, that will be T dagger. And if you apply this T and T daggers in sequence, then it will be identity. Okay. Now this is solid dot represent control qubit. 0 means you want to initialize the qubit with 0. What is this gate does? Measurement. So this quantum algorithm is run in this quantum mode, and finally, let's suppose if we talk about this Grover's algorithm. So finally, you have to measure the state after the application of this Grover operator, the square root of n time. Then what you will do? You will finally measure the qubits. So this gate is used for measurement of the qubits, and then this will give us classical value. Okay. Yeah. So there are other gates also available. but timing we will be using this main important gates. So okay.
Sir,
And
I have one doubt.
yeah.
Can we include our own gate to use this one software?
Yes, yes. So like kind of subroutine. Let's suppose if you want to have this control node gate. Okay. So
Okay.
you can have your design. So you can compose other gates also that we will see. Like some operation, let's suppose this Grover operator. So what you want to do is you want to implement that Grover as a single gate. So like in the classical programming, we can have subroutine or functions. So those kind of thing here also can be constructed. So absolutely your question answer is yes. We can have our own gates.
So it allows the implementation of the Oracle, what you said, that
Yes.
can be composed and it can be added.
Yes, perfectly. And that you can reuse.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Perfect. Now these are the gates available, and this wire represent this Q0 is a wire, Q1 is a wire, Q2 is a wire. These are basically qubits. Perfect. So you can add the qubits here. What is happening here? No qubits is added. Okay. Okay. So okay. So see here. Initially, whenever we don't do any initialization, this qubit 0 is there, qubit 1 is there, qubit 2 is there. Okay. 3 qubits are at our disposal, and initially all of them will be in 0 state. Okay. Now what is happening is we applied this NOT gate. Okay. We just simply drag and drop this gate here. So this Q0 become 1. And Q1 and Q2 are still 0, 0. So what will be our final state in this?
Can you repeat it, sir? Can you repeat it? I did not get it, sir. Initially it was 0. How you did it?
For Q0, Q1, Q2 are 0. So if you
Okay.
remove this gate, just simply remove it. So all 3 qubits are in 0 state. So we will have this state 000. No other
Okay,
state
sir.
will be there. Perfect.
Okay.
So this is basically amplitude of 000 state, and that is basically 1. And here it is probability. So see here measurement probabilities. So probability of 0, 0 will be 100%.
100%.
No other state will be there. Perfect.
Okay, sir.
Now what I am saying is that if I apply NOT gate here, now this Q0 will become 1.
1.
NOT or X gate I call it. So the first qubit, if you see here, the first qubit is the rightmost. This is first qubit. Are you able to see this?
Yes, sir.
This 001 in this 001, first qubit is Q0 is basically 1. Q2 is 0 and Q3 is, oh sorry, this Q0 is here rightmost.
1.
Rightmost. So notation reading is this. Q0 is rightmost, then Q1 and then Q2. Okay. Perfectly fine. So we will have this state only. So if you apply not here also, then what will happen? You will have a state.
1, 1.
No, 1, 1, 1. All 3 are complemented.
Okay.
Perfect. So I think maybe you should be with me rather than doing it yourself. You just focus what I'm telling. Later on, you will be able to do it. Okay.
So whatever you are doing over here, the right side, the code is getting generated, right, sir?
Yes, yes. That we will go through. First, we should understand this graphical interface. Then we will come to this coding part. So okay, now I am saying that I am applying Hadamard over this Q0 bit. So this Q1 and Q2 are 0, 0. Yeah, please.
Sir, Q0 is a least significant bit, right?
Yes, rightmost.
Q0 is. Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Perfect. So keep this thing in mind. So the Q0 is the least significant bit here, or the rightmost one. Yeah, this rightmost one. So I told earlier that what this Q0 does is
Sir, how do you remove the gate whichever has been applied earlier before applying Hadamard? How do you remove?
Right click and cut.
Okay. Yes.
So what I'm telling here is that if you apply Hadamard on a 0 state, so Q0R is in 0 state, I applied. Okay, just a second. So I am removing the other qubits also. So I am keeping only one qubit here. Now what I told is if you applied Hadamard on a 0 qubit, then it will become 0, 1 by root 2 0 plus 1 by root 2 1. And what is the probability? Amplitude will be 1 by root 2. So see here, what is the amplitude of 0? Amplitude, if you see here, it is 0.707. That is basically 1 by root 2. For 1 also, if you see, same 0.707. So it is basically, if you remember that thing,
It's a superposition.
yes,
0 and 1.
and
yes.
so 0 and 1 will be having, and the amplitude is also same, 1 by root 2, 1 by root 2. And if you see the probability here, that is basically 50%, 50%. Basically, mod
Yes.
square root of 1 by root 2, 1 by root 2 square. That is 1 by 2, 1 by 2, or 50-50%. Perfect. Now what I told in the earlier session, if we are having this, let I add one more qubit, and I am applying Hadamard also on this. So what I'm getting here is I'm getting all the states. 0 0 is also I'm having amplitude 1 1 and 1 0 and 1 1. Although amplitude is 1 by 2 and probability is 1 by 4. Are you able to see it?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. So what we see here is using these 2 qubits, and if you apply Hadamard on those 2 qubits, then we have these 4 amplitudes 0 0 0 1 1 0 and 1 1. Okay, and it is called superposition, and it is equal superposition because amplitude of all of them are same. Okay, and same the probability. Perfect. Okay, cut the gate and I apply the C0 gate. So if you see this circuit, Hadamard and then control node, it will create a state called 00 plus 11 by root 2. It is called Bell state. Okay. So what it does is we can tell you, I can tell you. Yeah. Just a second. So here at what I want to tell you is if you applied Hadamard on 0, then you will be getting 0 plus 1 by root 2. Is it clear? If you apply C0 on, okay. So what it does is, let's suppose if you are having these 2 qubits, basically 0 0, then it will become 0 0. If 1 0, then it will become 1 1. 0 1 will become 0 1, and 1 1 will become 1 0. So did you remember that whenever we apply C0 on this kind of state, let's suppose if you are applying on 0 0, so first is our control and second is our target. Okay, so it will remain same. First control is 1, so it will change the other qubit. So if it is applied on 1 0, then it will become 1 1. If it is 1 1, then it will become 1 0. Otherwise, it remains same. So what we did is first qubit we apply Hadamard, so we get this state. Okay, and second state was 0. So see here. Just a second. So what I was trying to tell you is that this is Hadamard applied on the first qubit, so it becomes 0 and 1. Now we are applying control node where control is the first qubit and target is the second one. So what will happen here is, you see, so this is the thing we are having here, and so this is the first qubit, this is second qubit, and now we have to apply Hadamard. So if this is 0, first qubit is 0, then it will remain same, target will remain same. Okay, so it will become 0 0, and the first is 1, so second will be complemented, so it will become
0
1 1. No, it was 0 no, originally. So first bit is, this is first
1
bit.
1.
So it 1,
Yes,
so it
yes,
will be
1
complemented. So it will become 1 1. So what I was telling is this 1 by root 2 will come here, and this will become 0 0 is 0 tensor 0 is basically 0 0 only, and this 1 tensor 1 is basically 1 1. So what I told is, on implementation of this circuit, we will get states with 0 0 and 1 1. These two only we will have, and their probability will be 1 by 1 by 2 1 by 2. See, and these kind of states are called Bell states, and they are having some particular properties that if yeah, so let's keep it simple. Okay, so I think we are running out of time, so yeah, so I need to first explain those. So what we did is this explain the amplitudes, this explains the probabilities, and somebody pointed out that here we get this circuit or so the program of that circuit. So let's suppose I put this measurement gate, and I put this measurement gate here also. Okay, now if you see here, this is the circuit. Okay, and it is equivalent quantum assembly program of this circuit. So if you read this quantum assembly, then it is mentioning the version of that and including some library. And then what we are doing is we are declaring quantum register of how much length? 2 length, and classical register of length 2. Then what we did is we apply Hadamard on the first qubit. So see here, Hadamard on first qubit. Then we apply control node on from 0 to 1. So 0 to 1 means the first qubit is control, Q0 is the control, and Q1 is the target. Okay, we applied this control node. Then what we are doing is we are measuring the first Q0 in C0. So Q0 is measured in C0 and Q1 is measured in C1. So this is the circuit and this is the program. So you can switch in between, like given the circuit, you can construct the Quasar code. And if you change something here, like let's suppose if I apply instead of this Hadamard, if I add here something x of Q1. So what I did is I applied Hadamard on Q1 qubit. See here. So if I insert this statement here, then automatically gate will be applied here. And if I remove this gate from here, let's suppose I remove this gate edge, then corresponding code of Hadamard will also disappear. So they will be, you can switch in between. So sometimes this for a small circuit graphical is a good way to do. When we are having complex circuit, then this programming in quantum assembly is the other way to do it efficiently. So let's keep the circuit same. Hadamard on 0. So as I explained this, what I'm doing is that we are seeing only 0 0 here and 0 0 here. So with 100% probability we are getting 0 0. But ideally, what should we get? Because we are running for 1 only, so 1 iteration we are getting this thing. So how to run this and how to set the running setting? You see here. So here is the run setting. Here you can choose what kind of system you want to choose. So here I chose simulator. Okay. And number of shots means how many times you want to repeat this experiment, or how many times you want to run the same circuit again and again. So I put this value as 1000. So let's suppose if you put this value as a 1, then what will happen? See, if you run it 1 time, so I am running it now. Okay. So let's suppose I run 1 time, then I'm getting 0 0. Let's run it 2 times. So the state job is sent to this IBM quantum simulator, and okay, So still I'm getting 0, 0. So let's make it 1000 times, then see how it is changing. So it is being run. The job is sent to that simulator. Okay. Just a second. So now you have to see the result of this. So what is happening here is, okay, perfect. Just a second. Setting is saved. Just a second. So this was our recent job which we have run. So we want to see the result of that. So what we did is in that case, we run it 1000 times and we want to see the circuit. Okay. So see here, 48% time we are getting 0, 0 and 51% time we are getting 1, 1. So is it okay? Like ideally we should get 50, 50. So it is almost that thing. Okay. Since it is probabilistic, so one trial will not be suffice. So this is 48 or this is 51. If you run for a longer number of shots, then this probability will further improve and to reach towards 15. Okay. But this we have done on simulator, and on simulator we are assuming that things are perfect. Let's suppose if you run the same thing on actual device, then what will happen? See here. In the setting, I am changing. Are everyone with me? And
yes, sir.
So the same thing earlier I ran on a simulator. Now I am going to run it on a actual device. Okay. So what I choose is this device, Bellum. It is having less Q here. Okay, or maybe. Okay. So let's suppose run that on that device only. Only Q is very small. So we choose this device, Bellum here, and now 1000 instead of 1000. Okay, 1000 attrition we did. Oh no. Okay, our circuit is gone. So just a second. Just redrawing that circuit. Okay. Okay. And removing this. Perfect. So yeah. And now I am running. Okay. So I click on the run. So this time this will be run on IBM Q Bellum, actual quantum device. Okay. On clicking on this. So job is sent to this and it will be put into the queue. So here if you see the jobs queue, so our job is in queue. Okay. So once it is completed, it will be shown here that it has been, so it is showing that how much time it will take to run? 28 minutes. Okay. So we will check it later on. Time being, we can run it again on some other device. Maybe, okay. On settings, come. Some other device we can choose. So you see here, simulator, there is very small queue. So I am not finding any other device which is IBM Lima also we can try. And again, we are going to run it on. So what we will do is, no, we can wait and we can see it in later session, whatever the result. Okay.
Sir, sir, you have run in simulator and now you are running on real device.
So,
but the difference won't be there in result. Both will be same only,
it will be there. It will be there. That is what I wanted to explain you. So time being, what I'm telling you is trust that. So what happens is that this quantum gates, Hadamard gate, and this all the gates are having some errors. As you know that this quantum computers or quantum processor run on temperature that is in millikelvin, that is minus 273 degree temperature they run, and if there is minor noise or some kind of vibration or some magnetic interference, any kind of interference will affect the accuracy of this quantum computer, namely its quantum gates or qubit states. So they all are like you can say fragile. some of the external disturbance or something will destroy their state. And in qubit also, this qubit are having their life in few milliseconds or less. So after that, there are various kinds of error, namely gate qubit initialization errors and qubit phase error, and also measurement error also there, initialization error also there. Like I am initializing here with 00, but there is also error in this thing. 99% time it is okay, but sometimes it is not initialized as 00. So there are different errors. So due to that, we will not get the result as expected, but towards that expected thing. Like ideally, if we run the Grover circuit, then we are saying that 94% time on 2 iteration on 3 qubit Grover search, we should get the answer with 94% probability. But if you run on actual device, then what can happen? It can happen that only 80% or 70% probability you get the answer. But still, that is sufficient for us for practical purposes. But the thing is that even this small circuit where only 2 gates are applied, these things will not come as expected because of error in devices. Okay. So that result we will see. Yeah.
So one basic question, sir. As you said that there's a control environment required to run the server of quantum computing, like as you said, minus 273. And if there is a variation in parameters, then it may affect the result. So we can conclude that the quantum computing cannot be used as for general purpose.
Our current status is like that, but what we do is there are ways to overcome those errors. So there are quantum error correction codes are there, and there are some fault tolerance mechanism are also in place. So if we use them, and if we have prior idea what kind of error, how much error will be there in this gate, so we can estimate error of a particular circuit. If we know that error, then we can tell about the results. Okay, let's suppose I am able to figure out that this gate complete gates are adding error of 5%. So ideal my answer should be 90%. If I'm getting 85 or 95, then also I can tell, okay, it is correct kind of thing. So there are mechanisms to overcome those things, but still those also require more qubits to implement those things.
Okay, so one more basic question. So you always talk about circuits. Circuits are nothing but algorithms, right?
Something are nothing but qubits are there, and you are applying some gates on them.
Okay.
So whatever algorithm is there, it will basically boil down to this quantum gates and qubits only. Like in classical, na? Classical, what you have? You have this gates are there, AND gate or gates are there, and you apply those gates only to implement the algorithm.
Yes, sir.
So here also similar thing. Qubits are there and quantum gates are there, and those are applied.
Okay, sir.
So what you can do is, so I have explained about this platform a bit, and more we will cover in the next session also. So Chetan, how much time we have for this session?
Sir, till 1:45 we had this session, sir.
So I think we are already timed out. But my purpose is that what is happening here is that I have many things to explain, but time is limited. So what I will try to do is I will try to make you understand whatever we learn. Rather than covering other Shor's algorithm in detail, I will skip that and we'll give you a high level idea only. And what we will try to do is we'll try to understand it better. So once you are equipped with those basic and fundamental clear, then you can create your own complex circuits as you learn it. And you can also do machine learning kind of thing also there that we will see in the next session. So what I will, because as you people were not aware or not covered, this quantum gate things were not covered in earlier session. So I have to cover that, and due to that we are lagging in all sessions. But my approach will be like try to cover the things which are more clear to us and try to master those only, rather than covering so many things. So is it okay with you guys?
We will be seeing the Grover's implementation also in the later session.
Yeah, perfectly. We will do, and I will try to do this Dojosa also and Grover also. Don't worry about that. But in this session, we should be able to finish this by this time. So still there are things remaining which I want to explain you guys. So about this platform, what is this inspect thing is there. So in the inspect, what you can do is like in the classical programming, the breakpoint kind of thing, na, that is there with in this inspect option. So at inspect at this point, what will be having this qubit 0 will be in 0 and 1 at this point. Okay, we are seeing the circuit at this point. So what will be the state of circuit at this point will be denoted. If you want to go to the next step, then what we will be doing is we'll do this next. So if you see here, initially these qubits are 0, 0. When we apply Hadamard on this first qubit, so first qubit will be in 0 and 1. Second qubit Q1 will be in 1, 0 state. So this is our left one is 0, our Q1, and this right one is 0 and 1. So basically our Q0 is in 0 also and 1 also. See here, then we apply this Hadamard, then it will become 0, 0 plus 1, 1. So no, sorry, this control node we apply. So as I told in that writing that once we have this Hadamard applied, then we apply this C node, then we will get 0, 0 plus 1, 1 state. And here we can see the probabilities also. Okay. And here we are, it is showing for one shot execution, but generally this shots you mention here and keep it as 1000. Maximum allowable by IBM is 8000. Okay. And other things are there. So basically what happens is that when you actually run this kind of thing on an actual device, you will not able to inspect in between. Keep this thing in mind. This quantum processor, once you supply this quantum circuit, you cannot probe this quantum computer in between that what is the state after this at this point, what is the state at this point. You will be having this final classical output on measuring. So understand this thing, this quantum gates are applied, this measurement is done, then quantum computer will give you this classical information. Okay, and basically this probability distribution that 0, 0 is getting 50% time and 1, 1 is getting 50% time. If you run this kind of experiment, so in between you cannot probe because the states are fragile. Okay, so once you try to observe those quantum states, they will converge to classical one. So you cannot in between intrude those quantum states. Okay, but here we are in this simulated environment. So simulation kind of thing, you can see that, okay, after this we will get this state, after this we will get this state. Because this simulator is basically a classical way to simulate quantum computer. Okay, so simulator is nothing but basically those qubits are represented by column vector and these gates are represented by matrices, and just this linear algebra kind of thing are happening here. So at every stage we can see what is the state after this, what is the state after this. So using this inspector in simulated environment, you can detail what should be your current state at this point should be. So you can look into it. Okay. So this inspect is like kind of breakpoint kind of thing in programming, which we do. In Vue also there are different options like graphical editor. So if you disable it, then you will that graphical editor is disappeared. So see here, this graphical editor is providing us this thing where we can compose the circuit. And Vue also we see that probability kind of thing, state vector kind of thing also we can see. Okay, here I told that codes I told. So here you are having this quantum assembly code of that thing. So these kind of codes, like some of you have developed this code and you want to send to your friend, then this you can just save this in a file. So there are export options there. If you see, you can import, export this kind of code or copy and share with other developers. Okay, and here is this QASM reference documentation available. So where how you can declare this kind of the syntax is there, na? That H denote this Hadamard gate and this Q0 denote the qubit 0. So in that QSM reference, you will find all these things. If you see here, that there is glossary also kind of thing, operation glossary is available with you. So about the gates also they have explained. So there is a very nice, nicely explained those things. You can start exploring at your own. If there is some issue or some serious questions or doubt is there, then you can mail me and ask me. I will be happily help you.
So what is your mail address, sir?
That is harish.sahu@gmail.com. harish.sahu@gmail.com.
Harish.sahu, SAHOO@gmail.com.
SAHU.
Okay, HU.
SHU, yeah. So
Sir, can you type it, sir? It would be great. Harish S. Okay.
HR. Oh, no, sorry. No. Harish, SH.
Sir, and you are affiliated to which institute?
I am with DRDO, Defense R&D Organization, Delhi.
DRDO. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, so this is my email ID. So any doubt or something remains, then you can mail me and ask me. Okay. So this is the composer thing which we are explaining here. So there is other way of this quantum assembly programming also ways there, and online you can do.
Hello, sir. Sir, email. Harish.shahu@gmail.
Yeah. See here, I have highlighted here. Are you able to see it in the browser here?
Yes, sir. Now, yes, sir.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. So inspect you have understood. View also you have understood. Share. So there is like this circuit. If I want to share with someone on Twitter, then this is the link. This link will go, and whenever someone will open this link, it will come to this browser and can see the circuit. Okay. Other way is like you just download this file, import export kind of thing, then you can do the thing. So all these things what we are doing is we are doing it online, okay, on this platform. So there is another way of Qiskit that we will see in the last session. Okay, and now what are the options remaining here? This is the jobs which you are running. Okay, so so it is showing that 17 minutes are left remaining when we will get the result. Okay, so quickly what I want to explain you guys is the quantum circuit for okay. So what is the time? I think it's lunchtime now, Chetan.
Yes, sir.
So what we can do is we can continue after the lunch. Maybe half an hour break we can take. And,
yes, sir.
We can join at 2:30.
Chalega, sir. We will join at 2:30, sir.
Perfect. So timing, meanwhile, if you have time, then you can explore this platform and do the thing. And the last session, I will be doing this Qiskit. So some of you, if you want to go with me, then you can download this Anaconda platform. Anaconda install. If you search for Anaconda installation, then download execute this exe file of this. So this kind of thing you will get. So try to install this Anaconda, download at least, because it's a huge package. So once you download it, then you can be with me and install this Qiskit on local machine and how to run program on that we can do.
So you'll be using Python, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So Anaconda latest version you can download and install. This thing is required. Other steps I will explain on the fly.
So can we use Google Colab because Google Colab?
No. Actually, the thing is that this Anaconda provide other things also which are required for Qiskit. So it's like if you download this, then it will be do all the things, remaining things. Okay,
I asked this question because sir, I am taking this session on my official laptop. That's why I cannot do it. That's it.
Perfect, no problem. So what I will do is I will explain the thing in such a way that you will be able to replicate when you go to your personal laptop and you can do it. Okay. It is for those who want to do with me. Those install this Anaconda package.
Okay. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. All the participants will continue with the session at 2:30. We'll join at 2:30.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.